we doing tonight?
Okay.
Hey, are we excited to be here? Yeah. All right, let's be excited. Wow, I tell you, I'm excited too. I am just really excited. But then again, at my age, breathing excites me. I tell you, I'm so old, I've been taking Silver Centrum for so long, I now get cavity check going to the airport. I tell you, I have to apologize to everybody tonight. I'm kind of new at this. I mean, my God, I've never been old before. Just think of it, who teaches you to be old? Right over there, who teaches you to be old? My God, we have no mentors. Just think of it. I have nobody to mentor me how to be old. Just everybody that could be my mentors have time issues. I got one group, they're just out of time. They're dead. Then I got a group that are some of the time and Alzheimer's, and they can't really remember anything. And then I got a group that are called the good timers. These are the group that have found the 4-hour Viagra. And all they do is just go round and around with this big smile on their face. But actually, I was searching around the other week, and I ran into this old 96-year-old gentleman, and I asked him to be my mentor. He was about the only one I could ever find in my 5 years of being old. And he said, sure, I'll be your mentor. I said, well, tell me about me. His name was Skippy, by the way. Skippy. So I asked him, can you teach me about being old? He says, yes, Tommy, I'm going to do that. He says, there's 4 things you have to remember when you're old. And these are the 4 things that are going to happen to you. The first one, you're going to forget names. Then you're going to forget faces. And then you're going to forget to zip up. And finally, you're going to forget to zip down. And that's the 4 things you have to know about being old. Well, I'll tell you, being old has a lot of advantages. I've just turned 70 years old. Give me a big hand. I'm still breathing. The problem when you're 70 years old, they have these high school reunions. And I had to go to my high school reunion about a couple weeks ago. It was just unbelievable. I used to go to Rufus King High School here in Milwaukee, so I walked into old Rufus King High School. I walked in the gymnasium, and there was hundreds of people there. And I walked in, and I go, oh my God! Look at all these old people! And all of them were coming up and saying I went to school with them. Oh, it was terrible. So I looked around the room and I thought, wow, all of the men over there, they didn't have hair on their heads. It was growing out of their nose and ears instead. And the women, oh my God, the women, it looked like furniture. You know, with the chest in their drawers? All right, that's it. But then, you ever been around old people? Ever been around old people? They really have nothing, you know, they're just kind of living. Yesterday's gone. They don't really have tomorrow. Not much going on today, but there's one thing that they're really competitive over. Sickness and ailments. My God, when you get them together, that's all they want to talk about. Oh my God, I went to the hospital and I just had my heart transplanted. Oh, I just went to, I could do you better than that. I just went to the hospital and got a leg cut off, and on and on and on. So what are you going to do at your high school reunion to have a little competitive fun with people that really don't have anything to do and no future, no past? So we invented a game. Fantasy ailments and disabilities. Fantasy ailments and disabilities. I'm telling you, everybody joined. It was a feeding frenzy. Oh my God. People came up and it was really a very competitive atmosphere. Everybody in the class actually joined in, and we gave we had a big ceremony for the grand champion. And oh, Lucille won the championship. Oh my God, she was so proud of herself. Poor Lucille. She's had a couple bypass surgeries, two cancer operations. She had a foot gone, 2 bad knees, replacement hips. She had a bad case of diarrhea happened that night. That's another thing. It went on and on and on. In fact, she was blind as a bat. Blind as a bat. In fact, she couldn't hear anything softer than a jet engine at takeoff. Well, we called her up, and she was so proud she had won the contest. And she got up there, and we introduced her, and actually I was the MC, so I said, Lucille, come on up here, you just won the prize. Let me introduce you to what we called you when you were Rufus-King High School. And her name was Lucky Lucy. But she got up and she did her acceptance speech. She was so thrilled. Said, gee, the class of 1959, I'd like to thank everybody for coming here, and I feel so fortunate. Now here's a woman that was just destroyed in life, had every disease. It's lucky she was just breathing. And she got up there and she said, I feel so grateful. And I looked at her and I said, really? And what do you feel grateful about? Oh, I still have my Wisconsin driver's license. I entered the contest. I feel pretty good, but I do have some issues. One of the issues I have, every so often I get a little depressed. I mean, just the week before the big shindig, I was really depressed, so I called the suicide hotline. I don't know if you've ever done that. As I picked up the phone and called a suicide hotline, and wouldn't you know it, I got a call center from Afghanistan. And I'll tell you, when she heard about I was suicide, she got so excited. She says, oh, Tommy, oh, can you drive a car? You're allowed to laugh tonight. Then the other thing was wrong with me, little thing, I did have tennis elbow. I've had that for many, many years. In fact, I've had it for about 30 years. And I see one night I went carousing around town with some of my buddies. I got home about 3 o'clock in the morning, and my wife Carol, she slammed me in the elbow with my tennis racket. Well, speaking of my wife, she was at the reunion with me. It was really kind of fun, but we're walking tables like this, and we're walking by this table, and this woman, not you personally, this woman was sitting there, and she was obviously drunk as a skunk, just sitting there drunk. And she kept waving at me, and Carol said, do you know that woman? I said, oh yeah, tragic, very tragic. She was a girlfriend, and I dated her for 4 or 5 years, and I just kind of dumped her, and I understand ever since I did that, she's never had a sober breath ever since. What a tragedy. And my wife said, well, that's really too bad. I didn't know anybody could celebrate that long. So, what's the time doing?
We got 8 minutes. So
How much?
8. We got 2 more minutes. Go.
So anyways, being old is really kind of nice. I'm, like I say, I have to apologize. I've never done this before. I've never been old, but it's kind of fun. And we could go on and on. In fact, a couple things that, well, my buddy here, Rick, he thinks he's old. He always comes up and he says, always introduce me. I'm the old guy. Well, let me tell you, when I was Rick's age, I used to have pimples. In fact of the matter is, I'm so old. When I was born, the Dead Sea was merely sick. Well, if I stand up here any longer, they're going to revoke my Social Security check. So I'll call back our wonderful, young, old Mr. MC Rick Phelps.
Himself. Is there anyone here that has to drive with their parents? I went home for a funeral, and we're driving along. My mother went right through a red light. I said,